So speaking of Kim Wynn in there, we have another golfer that participated in the U.S. Adaptive Open. We have Jason Hasty joining us as well. How's it going, Jason?
Hey, it's going really good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Let's go,
Yeah,
boy.
just give us a little background about you here, just to our listeners. First time joining us.
Yeah, so I got started adaptive golf. It's been a little over 2 years now, I think, for me. And I was born missing some fingers on my left hand. Show you real quick. So this is what my left hand looks like. Just kind of grew up that way, trying to figure out how to play all the sports. Be like all the other kids, right? I played pretty much every stick and ball sport that there was out there. Um, and then I didn't really get into golf till shoot, it was probably after COVID hit, and I couldn't really work. I was getting paid to work, but I couldn't work. I'm in sales, so I joined the country club out here in Virginia, and started playing golf a lot, right, for like a solid year almost, and just got the itch, and I started wanting to play more and more and more, and then um, I get a phone call from my brother-in-law, and he's like, "Hey, man, you got to turn on the golf channel." I'm like, "Why?" He said, "Just turn it on, man." So turn it on. I think that was maybe the first adaptive open in Pinehurst, maybe the second. I can't remember exactly. Might have been the second.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Do you need to look into this?" I'm like, "Man, I don't know, dude. I don't know that I would even like meet the requirements, right? Because to me, my hand was always just my hand, right? So I didn't know anything
Right.
different.
Yeah.
And then I started Googling some of the guys that were playing, and I saw this guy, Rob Walden, and his to kind of looked at his story and what he had happened, and I'm like, well, his hand's like my hand, so if he's playing, that means I can play. So it's kind of how I got into adaptive golf, was just by chance, my brother-in-law telling me to turn it on and see if we can play in a competitive setting. And man, it's been a pure joy the last 2 years, man, playing in these tournaments at a very high level. And I'm sure, you guys know Ricky very well. I met Ricky and a bunch of guys that, like, to me are like lifelong friends, man. We cut up a lot and we have a good time out there playing. But at the end of the day, we still can play some pretty good competitive golf. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I didn't listen, I didn't shoot 2 under in the Indiana qualifier, but somebody else on this podcast did. So,
Oh man, you shot two
um,
over though. You played well,
hey,
and you
no,
got
listen,
in.
I'm happy with how I played. Obviously, it played well enough to make the Open, but man, we have some really good competition, and I think really, aside from the competitive component of it, I think the camaraderie that we have with all the guys is probably what makes it even more fun. I mean, my my parents got to come up and watch me play in the Open, and they came to dinner with us one night, and they were sitting at the table, and they were just cackling the whole time at just the banter back and forth between all the guys that are at the table having a good time, So it was pretty cool.
I was just about to ask because we've had Ricky on obviously a couple times over the last year, and we've talked about the Adaptive Open and just at least the camaraderie part between each category. But it was really cool to kind of get the insight and see the photos and the stuff that Ricky let us have, and like that you sent us about how really you guys are all there for one another. You guys are all kind of intermingling and like having a blast and getting drinks, shooting the shit. And I think that for like me, that's like one of the coolest things to see. A little outside information for people that maybe don't know what my day job is. I am a supervisor that helps people with developmental disabilities get back into the community. So like when you see somebody working with like a staff member, I supervise both of them. So we have a lot of people that are like that that go and do those things, and they're like that whole community. And just like when you get in those settings, like the community and the camaraderie of that thing is so cool to see. So when it gets to this level, it's like, especially Ricky showing us all those photos of the like behind the scenes stuff, it's really cool to know that you guys are competing against one another, but you guys are, at the end of the day, you're like, dude, what a fucking great round like you had, and like that's so sick. Let's go get a beer, let's go chill in the hot tub. Like that, I love that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're spot on, man. I mean, Ricky will tell you, like, obviously we're all rooting each other on. I mean, some of these tournaments, yeah, we've got some money involved, and we can win a little bit of money. And adaptive golf's getting bigger to where there are some prize purses. But the reality of it is, it's really you're playing for your category to win, maybe an overall, get some points in the world rankings, try and get yourself up there in the world rankings. So it's like, you know. I'm never competing directly against Ricky in his category. We're competing
Yeah.
overall, but categorical, like in that, like I'm pulling for my guys, man. I'm always out there rooting them on. Shoot, I didn't I'm always out there trying to make sure that, they're staying positive and, because it's easy to get down on yourselves. You hit a bad shot. And so it's just, to your point, man, we like to cut up and have fun because the looser I can keep myself, I know when I play, if I can stay loose and just joke around and stuff, I'm playing better. And I figure it's probably the same for a lot of my other people out there playing. Like if we can keep them loose and not thinking about whether or not they got to they're up on the green in 2 and all they got to do is 4 putt. Ricky, it's like you take that out of his head and then he drains a 25 footer.
Well, I was just gonna ask, do you guys talk because you obviously have to run into each other at some point during them, right? Do you guys talk shit to each other during the mid round?
100%. Oh
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I'm looking across the fairway. I'm looking across the fairway, yelling shit to Ricky. Like, oh, that's all you got. I mean, yeah. So we keep it fun out there and keep it loose, I think.
Good.
And it depends on the tournament too. I mean, the Adaptive Open's a little bit more strict
Cordial.
on what we can do. Right, we can't be out there playing music, drinking, doing all the fun stuff. It's like it's super serious, but at the same time, like when I'm out there following them playing, like I'm encouraging on the tee box, dapping them up, like, hey, let's go, good hit, let's roll, man, keep it going. So
nice.
100%.
Yeah, I think one of the cool things going into this year's Adaptive Open, because we knew about it, like I had seen stuff on Golf Channel before, but we knew very little about the event last year, other than Ricky had qualified. Like he came on the first time before he went to the qualifier, and we like followed this journey with him. But then going into the Adaptive Open, like we had no idea what to expect, just like Ricky didn't, and like we knew of like Max Togasawa just because of his brother Mo and stuff like that. But then fast forward to this year, now we like are following, and other adaptive golfers are following like Basic Bogeys, and it was like seeing all that content roll out from everybody. Like Ricky was saying earlier, like with the practice rounds, it was like we already knew Brandon Canese, like we've been following him for a year now and stuff like that, and like we had Amanda on the pod.
Amanda was on
last year too, and she finished second in the women's category. So it's like it's just cool seeing the growth, not just on like social media, or not just on the Golf Channel, but the social media growth from last year too, as like the event's getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I mean, Ricky, like, tell me, because this was my first year playing, but I know Ricky played last year. So like, what was last year like versus this year in terms of just like the media component, the hype, the leading up to it, just even the practice rounds and stuff. Like, what was the difference, you think, like the biggest difference from last year to this year?
Definitely the course. Like the media was much better this year, I think. Which is expected, right? And it's not surprising in the fact of like every year it's going to grow a little more, and Del Deloitte,
Yeah.
Deloitte, throwing that money.
What the fuck are you saying? I don't know.
Yeah, dude,
I didn't know what it was either way.
Them throwing the money for Golf Channel to come in the third day and do the live broadcast is huge. And like every year we're gonna get more Deloittes coming in and throwing dough because they want to be a part of it, right? So I think this year was better in its own ways, but last year was fucking amazing for the third one. It's out in. I don't think the location was perfect, but they sure did make it work, and they made it the best they could. And before this year, I wouldn't have changed anything about last year. So every year it's going to grow more, and that's the exciting part. But it's also the part that gets me out, and same with Jason. It gets me out of bed every morning and on the practice range or practice putt or whatever. It gets me in the gym. It gets me to eat better because I know that we're moving at such a fast pace that more people are coming in and more people are being pushed out, and I want to make sure I'm in that group that's not being pushed out because it's crazy, man. Like I came out of nowhere last year and qualified, and then I came in second, and I came in second again this year, and it's like you never know where somebody's gonna come out of, and So it's really it's sick to see as an adaptive golfer, but as a competitor, it's the stuff that gets you on that practice range and firing and keeping up with it.
I just came up with a great idea, TJ. I think next year we need to send a Basic Bogeys adaptive tour team. We need to get Acorn Hills, use basic 15 at checkout for 15% off. We should get the Basic Bogeys
You
logo.
scumbag. You're trying to do a nice thing and you just mixed in a promo. I saw that.
I literally don't even know what you're talking about. I just was saying that we need to
don't use that promo code. That's scumbag.
Well,
whoa, chill.
Look at the hats. You can get a trouble off the tee. Ricky, you're gonna like. They have the magnet, right? Like that's a classic magnet ball mark. But check this out. There's a QR code inside for music playlist.
That's money, dude.
That's sick.
Scan it. Choose which one you want.
Sick.
Yeah.
Basic 20 at checkout, 20% off.
No, but actual that would be cool if we got like Acorn Hills like polos and we gave you guys some polos to wear. I think that'd be sick.
Hell yeah. I'm in.
Dude,
I'm in.
No doubt, man. We would 100% do it. I mean, I think that's like to your point. I mean, you think about like, I don't know. I guess as a kid, I always like aspired to be like a pro athlete, right? Like, I mean, every kid, right? In your backyard, like, oh, Michael Jordan, 3, 2, 1, I'm gonna hit the game-winning shot. Like, you want to be that pro athlete, and I think we're at the point now in adaptive golf where like we're getting sponsorships, even if it's not financial component. Like, I know Ricky and I both are Team Ping. Like, we're Ping takes care of us. They've done a phenomenal job. Like, I just inked on with Red Vanley Golf Apparel for apparel sponsorship.
That's huge.
You know, like just for fun, I got G4 making hats that say Nubs on them and like selling those off on Instagram and stuff. Like, and it's like, I mean, they're
fucking awesome.
Dude, listen, I got 24 of those things, and I sold all 24. And like, I was like, I can't believe people want to wear a hat that says Nubs. But Ricky will tell you, man, we'll be playing in a tournament, and there'll be other contestants wearing Nubs hats, and I'm playing with them and against them. It's like wild.
Dude, it's fucking awesome.
Thanks for watching today's episode.
To see more of our content, be sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube. We can be found at Basic Bogeys on all platforms.
Thanks. We hope to see you on the next one.